Thank you, everybody, for joining me for part 3 of this special episode of From the Suggestion Box, where we are talking to previous Alive Impact Award winners about their experiences and just wanted to share with you what it was like so that you can nominate as many people as possible and maybe even be a winner yourself. You should see yourself here because you are good enough, you deserve it, and we want to just share that we are people just like you, doing what we do, passionate about what we are doing just like you, and there's no reason why you can't be a winner. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to have everybody introduce themselves, and Andrea, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I'm Andrea Hill, and I received my award in 2020, and I was so excited to get it, and it was just basically, it was a true honor. And I think I got it along with you, Nicole, right?
Yes, the same year. Yep.
And I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
And what organization were you with when you won it?
I was with Leadership Memphis, and now I'm with Momentum Nonprofit Partners, both in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wonderful. Okay, Brenda, how about you?
So Brenda Michael Haggard, I am in Tulsa with Tulsa Alive. I LLC'd in 2017 in order to be available for other nonprofits or employee volunteer programs. And I received the Impact Award in the Old Timers category in 2019. So some of the inaugurals.
So no, it's the seasoned, well seasoned.
So seasoned. Hot and spicy seasoning.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Morgan, how about you?
So my name is Morgan Green Griffin, and I received the award in 2021 in the Emerging Leader category while I was working for the city of Coppell. And I'm very excited to announce that I'll be starting a new job for the city of Plano, working with volunteers.
Amazing, fantastic, and congratulations. And let's start with that. So Morgan, do you think winning this award helped you to secure your new job?
For sure. I think it definitely, any award helps add to your resume, and external validation is not something you can live your life by, but having the external validation is something that you can show as like tangible evidence of what you already know. So the award itself isn't something that says like, oh, my work was worthy. It is now getting that tangible proof that translates to anyone in any field and also translates to a resume.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Very well said. And so congratulations. Okay, so this question is for everybody. Do you remember where you were when you got the announcement that you won? Brenda.
I think I was headed to the virtual hybrid conference and had no clue. And of course, being an organizer of the conference, how they kept that from me is its own secret. Pretty surprising.
That's pretty impressive that you had no idea. And then you were sitting on the conference at the end, we're like, what? Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. Andrea, how about you? Where were you when you found out that you won?
I was actually at work and just going through my email and found the email that says congratulations. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. Something really good to see and really good to hear in the middle of your day. So I was really excited about it.
For sure. And Morgan, how about you?
So I was driving and I did not answer my phone while driving. But I do not answer my phone while driving. But once I got to where I was going, I saw that I had a voicemail from an unknown number, and it was like longer than a spam voicemail. So I listened to it, and I'm glad I did, because I was being called to be told that I won. And, I was like, oh, I didn't even know that I nominated. This is such a surprise. And so it was very exciting.
That is amazing. And, you know, so the last set of people that I spoke with, half of them knew that they were being nominated because people who were nominating them had to ask them and be like, I'm trying to nominate you for this, but so that's fantastic that you didn't even know that you were nominated. So that makes even that much more special. Brenda, did you know that you were nominated?
Not until everything was done. We nominated you. Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks.
And now
apparently my nominators knew way too much about me, so didn't have to ask a thing.
See,
well,
and that's, go ahead.
My nominator did ask me if I was okay with being nominated for an award, but then she was like, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And so I actually got online and I was trying to figure out what should she be nominating me for. And I knew that Alive's awards were going on, but I was like, oh, there's no way she's nominating me for this. I don't really think that this is the right time for me for this award. So I assumed it was some other award. But so I had no clue. She fooled me.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Andrea, how about you?
I did know I was nominated because my person told me that I nominated you for an award, and I was just like, okay, that sounds great. But you know, you never think, you're like, okay, it's always an option. It's always a choice that people have to make with all the awesome people in the world. So when I was actually awarded the award, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool because I work hard and I work to try to do things better for the community that I'm in, and then to be recognized for that work was really amazing.
Yes, and so affirming. To be like, look, I do know what I'm doing. I know a lot of y'all don't think so, but I do. And it's not me saying it, it's other people saying that I do.
Yeah. And we're among the best, the exemplary. So it's really cool.
Yes, because so the exemplary, that was I think so yours was the second one, the one like the 7 years and plus, because I know the one I was for was the emerging leader. I was on the up and coming. So yeah. So what I want to ask you ladies is, should people wait for somebody else to nominate them, or do you suggest that they go ahead and nominate themselves? Brenda, what do you think?
Yes.
And why?
Because you believe you are qualified and equipped. You probably have all of your accomplishments lined out as you should. We're documenting everything. And barring someone else, because so many of us have been WFH for 2+ years, nominate yourself. And if it comes as a surprise to anyone around you, well, then that's their problem. You are qualified, you are equipped, do it. And
I love it.
When you receive the honor, you get to be a judge for future programs. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And let me tell you, if you think winning is hard, choosing the winner is 10 times harder. Oh my gosh. The amount of talent, like I did not appreciate, okay, it's not that I didn't appreciate my award, but I appreciated it exponentially more when I was on the judging and had to choose the next year. And the amount of incredibly talented people that were in that pool, I was just so touched that my peers thought enough of me to award me with one of the awards, with the quality of people that were in the running. Like, oh my goodness. And what I loved about it is that it allowed me to meet brand new people in the field by being a judge for the next year. I've met now look, I'm connected with you all. I'm connected with the people who I was judging, and the people who were before. I met people who chose me.
Right.
Just that it comes full circle, and it's so phenomenal. So what I want to ask you ladies is this, right? So some people might feel like, oh, but I don't necessarily want to be recognized, and I don't want to toot my own horn, or what do you respond to that?
I mean, no one's gonna toot your horn for you. And a lot of people that I interact with, most of the time, they are the only person, depending on the organization, they are the only person that fully understands the amount of work they're doing. And so if they're waiting for someone else to nominate them, that day may never come. And if they're waiting for the full appreciation and the recognition, it's like everyone's grateful for your work, but they also don't really know what you're doing. And I also come from the library space, and in the library world, everyone self-nominates. So there's no shame in self-nominating because everyone's strapped for time. And so it can take a lot of time out of someone's day to sit down and do all the research to nominate you. Whereas, they may think like, oh yeah, I want to nominate so-and-so for this award, but then it just keeps getting pushed down on their to-do list. So instead of like feeling like, oh, well, if I nominate myself, it won't feel like I've won. That's not true. And I just this year, I won an award from the Texas Library Association, and I self-nominated for that award because I knew that I matched that award. And if I didn't nominate myself, it's not like someone else was going to go through all the steps for me.
Brenda, go for it. Yes.
So minimally, because you and your supervisor are a team, right? Toot your horn by completing everything in the nomination fields as possible, and then trot it in and say, I've done this for you. Sign here.
Yep.
Hit submit.
Absolutely.
That's another way. And
I'll add. Well, and I'll add too, like even when you nominate yourself or even someone else nominates you, it's really a promotion tool. Everybody's looking at, oh, what's that organization? Oh, who is that? Maybe I need that person to be a speaker for something, or maybe I need to partner with that organization. So it's even more so important for you to nominate, period, because it promotes yourself and it promotes the organization that you care so much about its mission and you want it to be fulfilled.
Yes. And I love that. And so I'm asking everybody to nominate like 3 people this year. And the thing
Absolutely.
is like, and one of them being yourself, and then 2 others. And the great thing is this year, the nomination process is even easier. So this year, the nominator just has to fill out a form that says, hey, I'm nominating Brenda. And then Brenda will get the email and fill everything out, which makes it so much easier on the nominator, So I say, I'm challenging everybody to nominate at least 3 people, one of them being yourself, because you deserve it. Yeah. And which kind of leads me into and this is something I talked about on the last time when we talked about this too, if you're still feeling like, oh, I'm not really sure, look at it as a professional development opportunity, because this does come with prize money, right? It's not just a certificate and a pat on the back. Like this comes with prize money specifically for your professional development. So Brenda, what did you do with your prize money?
The timing for my receiving was right in line with renewal for certification. So I put that toward certification as a volunteer administrator.
Perfect. For your CCVA? I mean, for your CVA.
CVA.
Yes. Awesome. And Andrea, what about you?
So I don't know if you can see my signature line with all the certifications.
With all the letters, I get like the whole alphabet down there.
All my alphabets, my letter alphabets. So when I received the award, I was in the process of actually studying for the CFRE exam, which is Certified Fundraising Executive certification. So I actually put it towards that application and actually passed my exam a couple of months ago. And so I'm so excited. So it just depends, you may not, have to do your training right then, but it's on the horizon. It's a worthy money amount for you to be able to put that towards something like that. So
yes. It's no small change. It's enough. It's enough. And Morgan, what about you?
So I have not spent it yet.
Well, it's still early. You're still just like,
yes.
It's early.
It's because I had already paid for a lot of the expenses I had, so it's just kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting this coming in, and since I would have spent some of it on the Texas Volunteer Management Conference, but I'm on the planning committee for that. So I am one of the few people who gets in for free. So I was like, oh, I'm not spending it on this. And I'm going to find something to spend it on for sure. I'll report back. Suggestion.
Points of Light conference.
Oh yeah. Was starting a new job.
Right.
I was, going to connect with, Karina and see like, oh, are there things that maybe aren't in the budget that I could still go to that maybe I could use some of that money for.
Oh, that's really great. That's very smart. Very, very smart. Okay. So we kind of answered this question before, but I'm still going to ask it like very directly. What did it mean to you to win the award? Morgan, we'll start with you.
It felt, really awesome, because at my job, my job title was librarian. It was not volunteer coordinator. It was not volunteer supervisor. It didn't have anything to do with volunteers. And so I had already been looking for some other opportunities, and I was kind of having a difficult time because even though job title doesn't matter because you do what you do, it does matter when it comes to a resume, especially with, how resumes are like automatically scanned. And so it meant a lot. And I felt like, okay, I am doing the right thing. I am looking to expand my career in the right way. I am skilled. I am here. And I am going to be recognized, and this is going to happen. I just have to keep trying.
And you finally landed a position in the profession.
Yes.
Awesome.
And so now what was, like a part of my job gets to be my job all the time. And I get to feel like I have one job instead of about 20.
I love it. Love it. Andrea, how about you?
So it was really exciting. I think it was, like you said earlier, it was an affirmation or a confirmation of all the hard work that has been put into this field, that one is necessary. It is so needed, and it should be mandatory for many organizations, but it's not. So I think as we are part of like different organizations like Alive, or even being awarded the awards that we have gotten, and being the person that has received it, it puts us at a different level. And it shows people that we are in a profession that is professional, if you quote unquote, if you will. But it puts it in a place that we are a viable field, because you award people who are doing excellent work, and that work is being done where? In volunteer management. So I think it really puts a spotlight on the work that we're doing in the career that we're in.
Yes, love it. One of the other winners had mentioned there's something about when you put, when you mention national award in your field that gets people's attention. You haven't changed one bit, but they heard national, and it was like, it just does something. It sets off alarms to people. That it gets them to notice. It gets them to notice. Brenda, how about you?
Well, having been in the not-for-profit world since the mid-'80s, when my first 30 years were really focused in development, nonprofit management, the board governance, everything in and around that, of course, I was working with volunteers. So the full circle of it, the tying it all up in a bow, was being able to truly say, this is what I do, this is what I support, this is what I promote, this is how I network and love on everyone who's attempting to do this, whether paid, unpaid, full-time, part-time. This is what it is all about, in being recognized for the blood, sweat, and tears, you know, hair, teeth, eyeballs, the whole bit. We've been putting it into this field. And Andrea, bless you, I did the certification twice as a fundraising executive. Yeah, I let it lapse in a move from state to state. And I finally let that go a couple of years ago, because my focus is as a leader of volunteers now, and being recognized, exemplary or well-seasoned, whichever. It's pretty awesome. And still, there are so many organizations that don't grasp how beneficial it would be for their organizations overall, the community, of course, but their teams, co-workers, colleagues within the organizations, and get back, think it through, the volunteers. When your volunteers know, you know what you're doing.
Yes.
That completely sets your program above any others that they will want to serve with.
Yes. Yes. So how did your organization celebrate you when they found out that you won?
Oh, me? Yay. I won't say there was drinking or anything. No. We were plumb tickled. Press releases that, you know, very few, again, anyone paid attention to, but yeah.
But at least you got a press release. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It was like a memo sent out to the organization celebrating. Was an email done, like anything like that?
Yep.
That's awesome. I won mine in the middle of the pandemic, so it was kind of like, great job. There was nobody around anyway to hear about it, so it was just like,
like we're all trying to survive.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you just got this award, but everybody's like trying to like not die right now. So congrats,
maybe your photo for all your Zooms should be the certificate.
I know, right? Exactly. Morgan, how about you? Was there any type of celebration for you?
I got a couple of thank you cards and definitely a lot of kudos. Like I said, in the library world, everyone's really strapped for time. So as soon as the award was announced, I got to writing my own press release because I write my own press releases for all the events I do and anything exciting going on. Because I was putting on lots of events for the library, and so I was writing press releases pretty frequently, and so I just wrote one up for myself, and I gave it to my director and said, hey, I'm sending out this press release about my award. And he said, oh, okay, it looks great. And I was like, okay. And so I sent it out and I was on the front page of the local newspaper. And so that was exciting. So I definitely, even if no one comes and says like, yes, we're putting a press release out about this. If you need help writing a press release, I've written one too many I've written lots for myself too. And they even sent like a press release template. So usually, especially if there's lots of local newspapers in the area, local newspapers don't always have a lot of reporters to like call and everything. So if it's like a small, like suburban newspaper, sometimes they just run the press releases verbatim and say
Mhm.
it's from a contributor. So I always take the press release and I spruce it up. I will add in a quote from myself.
Yes, you
Uh,
guys, press release 101, ladies and
yes,
gentlemen.
yes.
Listen to the tips here.
And I
Yes.
send my own photos in too. So I'll send them a photo. So I send them my favorite headshot. And so right on the cover of the paper, you know, my headshot and then the article I wrote. And sometimes they'll call for an additional comment or email for sources, you know, for other people to interview. And that's great. But especially with the small presses, you know, you can put out your press release and you really can get your story out there, and get, you know, so sometimes I have people in the community who are like, oh, you look so familiar. And then they're like, oh yeah, you won that award. I saw you on the paper.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And what an opportunity to talk about the profession and opening up doors to talk about all of that. Like, it just continues to strengthen the profession overall, which is what we are all trying to do. Because as we individually rise, we rise together. And as we rise together, people will take us more seriously, which means we can get paid more, and just on and on and on and on and on. So that is phenomenal. Love it. Love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Andrea, what happened with you? How did your organization celebrate you?
So again, mine was in the pandemic as well. And I think with many of us that, you know, we weren't outwardly celebrated unless we did something for ourselves. So I know Karina, who is with Plano, she is like the graphics and social media queen.
Yes,
so
she is. Yes, she is.
I decided that I was going to be like, let me take a book out of Karina's book, a page out of Karina's book, and make me a graphic. So I was like, I'm gonna get fancy. I'll put some sparkles around it, put my face in there, and put the little tag around it with the award, and post it on LinkedIn. And I said, all the people that like my post, I'm gonna go back and see if I'm actually connected with them, and then connect with them. If not, and just continue to kind of keep it there. So, you know, it's just another way of, you know, self-promotion, organizational promotion. But I think something I was reading maybe last week or even probably this morning around 7 o'clock when I do my LinkedIn scroll or my, you know, looking at all the articles and see which one I can help me make me smarter. But it was just talking about celebrating, and we have to celebrate ourselves. And it's okay to do that. I think, you know, we've gotten to a place where, you know, not celebrating yourself and not tooting your own horn and you know, somebody, you can pat yourself on the back, but you know, just let the work speak for you. It's kind of old school. I think now we can pat ourselves on the back and understand that we're doing it from a humble place, but we're encouraging ourselves to continue and move forward and do better and greater things. And that encourages other people who look up to us at whatever age we are. And I'll just say, I have gray hair, but I diet. So, you know, it's just whatever age you are, there's someone to look up to you. So me and Brenda, we're in the boat. Yeah.
Here's mine. There's mine.
I do have a couple. You can't see them. I'm waiting for the rest to come in so I can go like a lavender. You know, but I need my hair to get natural gray first before I can, you know, do that. I don't want to ruin the hair. So I'm letting the grays come in.
Okay.
I love it. I'm with you. Love it. Love it.
I also wanted to add about, you know, celebrating on LinkedIn and eating your own horn. I know that it, you know, doesn't feel right to some people, but I try to think about it not as thinking about promoting me, but promoting everyone. And especially like one thing that I learned is that so many people enter this profession almost by accident. For me, it was like, you know, I showed up and no one had said anything about volunteers. The word volunteer was never in my job description. And then they were like, okay, you have 30 days to you transfer this volunteer program that this person used to do, who's now gone. And we want you to put it online. And it's, you know, for kids, that, you know, it's for teenagers. And it's like, oh, okay. And, you know, I did it. It was great. But, you know, so many people get here by accident and they don't have the community that they need. And one thing, you know, I'm going to mention Karina again, because she's like the biggest person, especially to be connected with on LinkedIn. She will always celebrate you.
Yeah.
But, you know, I connected with her while I was working in Capel, you know, because she ran this little like, you know, meetup group where we would meet up and talk about volunteerism in local government, and having a community, it helped me feel like my problems were solvable. Other people knew what I was going through, and that like my situation wasn't super unique to me. It was something that lots of people were going through. And by, you know, celebrating the success brings attention to the profession, and hopefully those people get connected with you, because if they're in the situation I was and feeling kind of isolated and alone, that's not a fun place to be. We already have jobs. We don't need the job of trying to, you know, go out there and make our own community when we're here. And promoting it is inviting people in.
Yes, absolutely. 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 And one of the other things that connects with that is what the beauty of this is. People have won from various backgrounds, various industries, various different things, and representation is so important. So so by you saying, hey, I won this award, number one, it shows there's a lot of, hey, if it could happen for her, it could happen for me. And in whatever way that you connect with that person, it could be ethnic background, it could be industry, it could be age, it could be who knows, so many different things. But it opens that door and reminds people that, hey, if she could do it, maybe it could happen for me too. But if we don't put it out there, how are people going to know? How are they going to, and you've heard this so much, especially in the last couple of years, like how important it is to see yourself in wherever it is that you are trying to be, because it's just that constant reminder of, man, if this person can do it and I'm just like them, maybe that means I can do it too. And so by posting it, putting it out there, letting people know, it's just that confirmation for people who you may never even connect with, who you may never talk to, but you could be the thing that sparks them, that even encourages them, like, hey, that even gives them the slightest bit of hope, because even with the slightest bit of hope, who knows what can happen. But if you never even take the chance, you're guaranteed not to win. But at least if you throw it out there, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So yes, LinkedIn all day.
And just like Morgan mentioned, most of us just fall face first into this.
Yes.
And as I did, I spent the first 15 to 20 years promoting the profession of development, professional fundraisers, fundraising executives. And I was sitting somewhere and a fellow fundraiser was introducing herself, and she called herself a paid beggar. And I was completely horrified. So it goes back to telling our story. We're not tooting our horn. We're sharing what we might do so that our donors feel validated in investing in our organizations, and the same with our volunteers in investing in our organizations. It's just sharing.
And which ties right back into how many, I don't know very many people who just were like, I knew I was going to be a volunteer engagement manager. Like everybody I knew came from somewhere else, right? There's no little kids running around. They're like, I want to be a fire person. I want to be, a ballerina. There's nobody running around talking about, I want to manage volunteers when I get older. Like that's not a thing. Our job is to put the stuff out there so that there will be some little child somewhere that grows up saying, I want to be a manager of volunteers. I want to work in volunteer engagement, right? Because right now you could talk, people have come from every and anything and landed here. So that is so beautiful because it just shows how robust the background is. And as we continue to talk about it from that lens, it gives more people another opportunity. Let me look into this. What is this volunteer engagement that I keep hearing about? And that we can attract high level, educated, smart people to the field. It's not just the leftover thing that, oh, well, it's, you know, anybody can do it, because we all know that not everybody can do this job. It's just not that. It's just not that. Okay.
So we've talked about tooting our own horns, and that receiving this or even being nominated is validating and lends credibility to what we're doing. But when we have landed in this field, happenstance or whatever, it falls to each of us to learn, to grow, to do, and to be. And it is true that not everyone wants to do that. So while this field could be available, open, and very welcoming to anyone who wants to serve and lead volunteers, it still falls back to the inner motivation and my desire to be more for my volunteers.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. So when your volunteers found out that you won the award, did they say anything or do anything?
Well, on the whole, they knew I was good. They knew I was cool. Some of them were surprised, and some of them still give me grief. Really, you know what you're doing? But what about, to the very end. I will never know everything, but I know so much. I'm scary.
You know so much that you're dangerous. That's what it is. Yes. Yeah. What about you, Andrea or Morgan?
So I mostly work with teens, and they definitely knew. We had some teen, reporters even come in who are also volunteers and who write for the newspaper, want to come in and interview me and
that's so
do
great.
Video interviews. And so it was a lot of fun. And, I didn't send out a mass communique to the volunteers specifically, but they were all very excited, and they were also excited just to see reports I put together that includes lots of information about what they find valuable, because I try to center all the things I do on celebrating their voices and their experience. And so even when they see oh, my quote was chosen for the report, sometimes they get really excited. I did such a good job. And I was like, oh my, it's so hard to pick the quotes, but and so the teens were really happy for me, and they are amazing, and they are, they are what makes it the most fun.
Yeah, and rewarding for sure.
Yeah.
And Andrea.
So I'll say, for me, my volunteers, most of my organizations that I work with as a volunteer center with Volunteer Memphis in Memphis, they were excited because they knew that, I was the one connecting them to many opportunities that were national opportunities for our field organizations to partner with. And they were, happy to be a part of kind of my network, which is kind of cool. So I think they were, well, I know they were excited. They were liking it, and mostly my dad shared on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm not sure if any of my partners share, but the family, they'll share and all day long, and you can't subscribe to anything, but they like and share. So everybody was really excited and happy for me to get my recognition, honestly.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. It gave everybody a little bit of street cred. Yeah. Well, ladies, do any of you have any last thoughts that you would like to leave for our listeners, our viewers regarding the Alive Awards?
Just do it.
Yeah, and if you don't feel like you can do it yet, you can connect with one of us. Maybe, if one of us has, resonated most with you or your story or anything, I'm sure we're all happy to help someone out. So if you need to connect with someone and get a pep talk, there's a lot of those out there, and I'm more than happy to connect with you, hear about what you're doing, and then be a little cheerleader for you.
Absolutely. And we are all on LinkedIn. So hit that connect button.
And Nicole, and I'll add this. I think the best thing, and I think Brenda, you talked, I think one of the things that I would say just as a lasting note is to just continue to track what you're doing, because everyone has a list of these accomplishments. And when you see it all in one place, then you're like, oh, I think I need to apply. But if you don't have them in one place and you're like, well, I do some things, but they're not amazing. Keep a track of it, and you can see how amazing you are every year and think that you're accomplishing, and you deserve this award. And I think that's one of the things that resonates with me, that you have to track it. You have to look at it and be amazed at yourself sometimes.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Well,
and with that.
Oh man, that was good stuff. That was really, really good stuff. Well, we are at time. And so I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening, and Brenda and Morgan and Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me this evening and just sharing about the experience and helping me to encourage people to get the word out, spread the word. Even like I said, nominate yourself, and then just push that award out there. And something that I had mentioned before is it's not always like the big organizations that you hear about. It could be the small mom and pop nonprofit organization that has its one room and they're renting out a room somewhere and they have volunteers helping them. Yes, that they matter too. Maybe it's a religious organization, but it doesn't have to be the big nonprofit that everybody's heard about and that has name recognition. It's the little ones. It's because you know what? Every nonprofit has its place and is serving a community and is touching that community in a way that nobody else can have impact on that community the way nobody else can. And those volunteers matter just as much. So the work that you are doing in that small organization is just as powerful as somebody working for Points of Light. It's just as powerful as somebody working for United Way or Habitat for Humanity or all these big names. That small organization is having just as much impact, especially if you compare it exponentially, right? If you have 4 volunteers and you're reaching 50% of the community, if you're going off of metrics, you could be having more impact per capita than United Way. Not necessarily saying that, don't be mad at me, United Way, but I'm just trying to put it in perspective. Don't discount yourself because it's at a smaller organization. Everything that you are doing matters just as much. So get the word out, nominate yourself, share it on LinkedIn. If you don't know about Alive, connect with Alive, because that's the other thing that Andrea was saying earlier, is people are going to be like, what is this Alive? What is this Live? It is just like Morgan said, the community that you do not have to go and create, but it is already there, and we will welcome you with open arms. I cannot tell you the first time I went into like a conference where there were other people who manage volunteers, and I said something and all 50 people in the room understood what I was talking about. And I was like, whoa. It was priceless, especially because when you go out and you're networking, everybody knows the people who work in marketing. Oh, I work in marketing, or I'm a graphic design, or I'm in finance, or people, everybody can connect to that. And when you say, oh, I work in volunteer services, they're like, oh, you work for free? And you're like, no. So to be in a room with other people who are working and engaging volunteers and making impact, there's nothing like it. So at the very least, if you believe in Alive, share it. If you believe in yourself, which you should, share it. If you believe in the profession, share it and nominate somebody. Let's get the word out. And thank Better Impact for believing in the profession and believing in us as professionals enough to even put money behind this award, so that it's not just recognition, it's not just another piece of paper, but it's another piece of paper and a way for you to step up and improve your game and improve your impact. So with all of those being said, I hope you are as excited as we are. Like I said, we were past winners. We are passionate about it. We believe in it. And we came on here because we wanted to make sure that you understood the opportunity that comes with this. So share, share, share. Thank you so much for joining me and my wonderful guests for this episode. Make sure that you click below and then share and subscribe to get other people to listen to it. The key word tonight is share, because sharing is caring, right? So, but thank you so much for joining us for this episode of From the Suggestion Box. And I truly hope that after you see this, that you click that button to nominate either yourself, or actually yourself and at least 2 other people. Let's get the word out and make people realize how awesome the profession of volunteer engagement is. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you. Good night. See you next time. Bye-bye.